What's up, guys? Hope y'all are doing well. Happy Friday. Happy weekend. Got a mic, so a new mic, so hopefully it'll start sounding better. But yeah, let's go ahead and get started here. In the interest of time, instead of making this my usual like hour-long thing, we'll see how long this takes. But I basically went ahead and edited down my trades from Wednesday, and it'll just cover the 3 trades that I took on Wednesday. I've got all the kind of stuff in between the trades already sped up, and the video is 10.5 minutes long. So yeah, hopefully it shouldn't take too long. I might pause it every once in a while, but the goal is not having to pause it. So we'll see how that works out. So go ahead and get started here. Again, this Wednesday. I'm trading NASDAQ. New York has just started about 8 minutes ago here. You can see the time 9:38. That's in Eastern time and New York time. So the first trade of the day that I am looking for, well, that I look for every day, is once the 5 minute the first 5 minute candle of open has finished, I look for setups that I just called IB sweeps because I didn't know what else to call them. But it's basically just taking the high or taking the low and then coming back to continue to range. So that's one of the first setups I look for after open. And so that's what I'm looking for here. That's why I have a box drawn around the top of there. On the range XV chart here, the yellow line at the top and the yellow line at the bottom, those are, that's the IB high and the IB low. So what I'm looking for. And then I'm drawing a channel here because if it does, if as you can, from what you can see on the 1 minute here, if price does want to impulse here, and this was just like a wave one of an impulsive leg up, and we get another leg up, then what price is going to want to do is pop up above this corrective channel here and then back test it as support and then continue to go. So I've got 2 scenarios that I'm thinking about here. The IB sweep is what I want, preferably, because I have reasoning on a higher time frame here on the top left on the 30-minute chart. I have reasoning for wanting lower. I'd like to tap into the 832 or the negative 100 here from this scalp pull. It's been an extremely respected pull at this point, and it's just from the high to the higher low here. We got the 3-4 respect, the 3-8-2 respect, and then it continued to respect the kickback zone here, and then eventually tap the 618. That gave nice respect. Now we tap the 706. That gave nice respect. So essentially, I'm looking for lower down to the 832 or the negative 1 or the 100. So I've got reasoning on a higher time frame to look for lower. That's why I'd be looking at this. I'd prefer the short setup here rather than look for a long. So price pops up into my zone of confluence, and I essentially was just using a local scalp pull here combined with the higher time frame pull here. We have the negative 1 from that pull has not been hit yet. And then on the local pull, basically the same exact targets around the 832 and the 1, and I just put a little box around there, which would also take the IB highs. So just looking for that. And then now watching this back, I do feel like I entered this a little bit too early. I should have waited for something like there. Like that. This is, watching it back, this is what I feel like would be a little bit better, because I mean, it had the most perfect reaction from the exact zone that I was looking for, but it still could have easily popped up right where I entered the short trade. It still could have easily popped up here and done the other thing that I said could happen, where it backtests the channel, the top of the channel as support. So yeah, but I ended up being right here. Um, yeah, I just think I entered a little too early. If I had waited a little bit longer, then it would have felt a little bit better, like it was getting accepted back into the channel. So I entered, and currently I'm using a trailing stop on a task. So after every $5 move towards my direction, it'll move the stop $5 also. That's how I have it set up right now. But um, initially my invalidation and stop loss was, you know, right above that high, and then it just keeps going down, and I'm just letting it run. I found a scalp pull here. Um, like I was using another one initially, but then yeah, I had this more local one initially, but then I dragged it up to the next lower high up here to where it's getting respect on the 3-4, and then I have more confluence for my take profit where we'd be coming through the IB middle and then also coming into the kickback where if price did want to continue, it could bounce from around this area and then continue. So it's a good, it would be a $20 move with two contracts. That would be $800 win. So pretty solid for me. And here's another local pull that's giving me even more confidence that it's probably a good place to take profit, hitting about the 832 of that. Well, so got our take profit pretty quick. That was all. I put it to 1 time speed as soon as we were around here. So that took about a minute, maybe 2 minutes max. Not too bad. And yeah, that's a setup that I look for every day. Right on open. I guess the thing that I'll say, I'm really not trying to drag this out, but I liked that the 5 minute candle here, that it was a very rangy candle. I like that it kind of finished right where it began. It wasn't it didn't look too, even though it finished green, it didn't look too much like it needed to go one direction or the other. So that's something that helps a little bit for the a situation where you could count on a potential like IB sweep, just taking the IB high or taking the IB low, and then taking profit at the middle or the low, or wherever you feel like taking profit. But again, the $20 move is good enough for me, especially right on open when price moves pretty fast, and I have no idea. Like I don't know what price wants to do. All I know is it's a solid setup for me, high probability for $10 to $20 moves. In this case, got me the $20 move. So we move on, and this will be sped up again until I take the next trade. Then I'll slow it down. So I have marked out this box here around if you can see the top left again, between the 832 and the negative 100. Yeah, I've marked out that, but that's what this white box is here. So we have come in to tap the 832. And I'm just waiting. I've got a local pull here. We have a market structure break locally here, like clean market structure break. Now there is potential for the IB low to hold as resistance. There is certainly potential for that. So I don't want to get too excited about the move and just be longing right up here. I want to at least take a wait for a good retrace. Even though it hit a good level for me, still it does happen. If this day wanted to be a day that just continued to impulse down, then it would be fairly common for it to come and just backtest the IB low and then continue coming down. So I do want to wait for a good retrace. I've got this local scalp hole here. We did hit the 706, but we didn't already hit the one, and we had a little bit of a preload here at the kickback, but we didn't do like a 3-4 to kickback. So for me, the kickback could still be good, at the very least for a scalp. So I slow it down again here, so we can. This is back down to 1x speed. We can look at the execution. So it's coming to my box. It looks like it might want to be giving a reaction, and it looks like it's forming this little triangle type of thing right in yeah, right in the area where I was looking for. So I decided to get in. A little bit of an aggressive entry there, admittedly. But it's because I noticed that triangular type of structure forming. I think yeah, looking back at it, I would right now, I would say ideally, in hindsight, obviously in hindsight, right when I said right now would have probably been the better entry after it, took a little bit of that range XV local market structure. I felt really confident in that zone. There all the fibs were lining up, and it was a good retrace. The higher time frame, all of these fib levels were being respected really well, so I felt like it was okay to be a little bit aggressive there. Thank you, JC. Appreciate it. Finally got a mic, so things finally sound a little better. Hopefully less sirens going on in the background and less cats meowing and all that. So I'm basically just looking to take this up to a $20 move, which takes the high again just by a little bit. So in the case if this is just a corrective leg, then I'd be it would most likely take the high again. And yeah, I have no idea what price is going to do here. I'm just taking my $20 move, being happy with it. So just like I did on the last one, and what I'll tell y'all every single time, take screenshots of your trades with all your confluence, put them in your journal. It's the only way to learn. Definitely do that if you're not doing it. All right, so we got a nice little channel forming here. Looks pretty nice. I was waiting for us to come down into the channel, not getting too excited about it until it actually taps it. Now we've tapped it, and now it looks like there's potential for a little 3-4, maybe a little 3-4 to kickback action. So that's kind of what I'm preparing for. Also, I'm noticing the bullish CBD divergence, which I marked in the box there at the low. Oh, and since I didn't mention this before, this was just another confluence for me. This zone, this ranging accumulation zone up here, I just did a 3-pull from it. I didn't even pull a fixed range or anything. I just kind of lazily did it because whenever you form a range like this for a period of time and then you kind of impulse away from it, you can just kind of estimate a 3-pull. I had my other zones of interest I already had. This was just an extra little confluence that even on a lower time frame there were targets here, and you can see that it respected the first set of targets a bit on this little pit stop, and then it came down to the second set of targets too. So just a little more confirmation. All right, so going back to the bottom right, you can see we are reacting from the 3-4 here, looks like. And then I'm gonna see if we can come back down into kickback. Already getting ready, kind of focused on potentially taking this trade. So we're coming down. Right, so we're down into the kickback zone, and it does look like a bigger triangle is forming too, which I like to see. And as soon as that momentum starts coming in, I just get in right there. It did exactly what I was waiting for. Pull my stop up to underneath that low, which is my invalidation for this idea. And essentially the idea is just taking it back up to the channel top, which happens to be a $20 move again. So it's pretty perfect. Again, this is 1x speed, so it's moving pretty nice and quick. Never had to be underwater. These $20 take profits with 2 contracts, that's $800. So sitting pretty nice with three of those $800 trades for the day done. And then we've got one more trade here in a bit. This stupid long short tool was giving me some issues, but got my screenshot in. And now we'll speed it up again. There was a setup here for the IB middle. I just yeah, so I think, let me pause it for a second. I think I cut out, yeah, I think I cut out some of that. I was looking for a trade here at the IB middle. It just didn't quite give me what I wanted. In hindsight, I think there would have been some opportunities there. If I would have traded it the same way that I traded the channel up, like, you know, you can kind of imagine a channel here. I wanted it to take the IB middle again. I kind of saw this as a perfect tap almost. I wanted it to take it again and then get like a move like this with a back test of it. It didn't quite get that, and yeah, so I just missed it. But now we've come down here and I'm looking for long again. If you saw, let's see, where do I do it? Yeah, somewhere in here. Yeah. So I'm pulling a scalp fib up to where it respected the 3-4 essentially on the way up, and I'm looking for the kickback zone now, which and then also we had a really nice move up, and then we didn't drop down right away, but now we got a nice retrace, a nice deep retrace, filling up all this 1 minute FEG here, nice deep retrace, and also the taps into the 1 minute FEG so far. You can see this tap here. This was the first one, and then this one. These did not get a new high out of it, because typically you would expect a tap into an FEG like this to create another high, and it did not do that yet. So there's still a lot of potential for this FEG to ultimately end up holding for another high, at least to take this high. So I have that kind of on my side as well. And yeah, just a nice deep retrace right into the kickback of a local pull. And then since we did get, well, I'll draw it on here later and then you'll see. But so I have it back down to 1x speed, and we can kind of look at the execution of this. So it's kind of like the second trade that I showed earlier, where I was looking for a I was looking at the price action at the low of that channel as like a triangle type of thing, and it's doing the same thing here again. Now, there was one difference, and it could have gone a little bit differently. The difference is, like, if you watch this back and rewind it, yeah, I actually see it. On that second trade of the day that I took, I actually ended up longing it right about here on that one. And I felt like I got a little bit lucky on that. and I felt like I was a little overzealous, but it ended up working out. But I was a little overzealous on that second one because it often does come down and just make the triangle just like a little bit bigger. I'm just talking about a little candle triangle structure here on the XV chart because it does do what it just did here more often than not. So I think getting a like if I would have done the same thing and longed up here, I would have still been fine having a stop like under here, but yeah. This time, you know, I noticed that triangle type of thing, and so I put my I put a limit right at the bottom, like right at the last low. So if it wants to you know, take the low one more time and then start coming up. And yeah, so I ended up getting a pretty nice looking entry on this trade because of that. It won't always play out like that perfectly, but when it does, definitely feel good about it. So. All right, so here on the 1 minute on the left, you can see I drew out some EW fibs here. Not looking at the 200, but looking at the 706.832. If this um yeah, just the fact that we missed those and like this really would be an impulse. This would be an impulse fib target thing, and since price did come below it, below this one, if you wanted to call this a one, it wouldn't. I know this wouldn't be like a 5 wave thing anymore, but the EW traders who invested into this move would still potentially have targets up here that haven't hit yet. So I'm still looking at it as confluence. Right. And so I had put my take profit right there at the 706 into the zone that I marked out, and so take profit one hit. Sent that screenshot out to the group. And this I didn't this didn't work. This part didn't work out too well for me, to be honest, but I could have trusted a you know, I could have trusted a stop loss that was maybe under one of these lows here. It doesn't. So yeah, the end of this is basically it ends up stopping me out. Ends up stopping me out just barely, and then it actually continues up. So that was a little bit unfortunate, but still it's fine. Like I was able to lock in my profits, so not too bad. Not too bad of a day. Yeah, I don't know. Do you guys have any questions about anything? That is it for that. No? Okay, cool. Simon says hi. Say hi, Simon. All right, guys. Well, I'll call it. We'll call it at that then. Hope you guys have a great weekend, and I'll see you next time.